Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for Saturday morning blast off. Welcome, everybody. Um, and do it on my own. So hopefully it lasts. YouTube connections are kind of finicky at this point. I know it's not my internet, quite honestly, at this point. I've been looking, around and all that stuff. I've got performance dials and all that stuff. It's something on YouTube. I think it's just we have too many people that on Saturday mornings are watching shit on YouTube and they can't handle the bandwidth, especially when you start streaming live, things like that. So let me take care. Yeah, I saw there was already people on in the morning. That's what happens. So, and I'm not doing this at 3 a.m. So there you go. Because first, then we'll get to things. If you like what you see, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, at the very end of this video, you're going to see a video pop up here. Basically, what YouTube does takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up there just for you. Up here is going to be Harley Quinn. And if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, you can hit the bell down below there. And that's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to, and speaking of Facebook, there's a Facebook group page where you guys can post stuff and talk amongst yourselves. I have a Twitter, I have an Instagram, and I have a Patreon page. All that stuff is on suspendedfanimation.com. All the links to that. So this is going to be on my one and only little political rant thing right here that I'm going to do really quickly since it's all glitchy anyway at the beginning here. All these people that are protesting about stay-at-home order should be done now. We flattened the curve and everything's good to go. We should get going outside again. No, that's like saying, hey, this parachute has slowed my rate of descent. I don't need it anymore, even though I'm 1,500 feet above the ground and I'm going to unbuckle it. No. Yep, I'm salty and glitchy. That's what it is. The politics are being suppressed glitches. Is that what you're saying? So stay the fuck at home. That's all I'm gonna say. Wash your fucking hands. Keep your fucking distance. How's that? Does that make it through? It did. Yeah, I'm watching the number jump back and forth. And quite honestly, it's not my connection. It is YouTube. YouTube is glitchy as fuck right now. There are just too many people that are on there. Then there's also the people that are watching porn too. So, that I just saw. Luckily, that was during a liberate me. Yeah. Ah. All right. Some more people are going to come in a little bit here, but we'll get started with some of the lesser news, and I'll get to the real stuff here. May 27th, the 7th and final season. Thank whatever deity was involved with this. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is done with, and that's the premiere is May 27th for the final season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm wondering if ABC is going to do the same thing like they did last season, where they just kind of dumped it all at once on their website, which I thought was pretty damn funny because ABC does not want to, they haven't wanted the show since season 5, and Disney has been, pushing them to keep it. So Viking Bitch says apparently your YouTube was unprepared for this crisis. Well, yeah, I mean, everyone was. So Stanley Twill says idiocracy is so far off the mark. Reality is much worse. Yeah. We were living idiocracy for a while there, Stanley. So now it just kind of went to Idiocracy, the sequel. Even dumber than dumb. Yeah. The whole internet is getting saturated with idle people. Yes, I know. I know, Cordell, you're at home now instead of, at work, and you're watching whatever YouTube stuff you're watching. All right. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. Why not? Comic-Con 2020 has been canceled. Finally. Fuck my God. They finally realized that they were not going to be able to hold in July a gathering of 135, 140,000 people. So Gavin Newsom, the the mayor, the governor of California, a couple days ago in his daily State of the Address, basically said that for a while there's not going to be any like mass gatherings. We're not going to be doing concerts. We're not going to be doing, Fourth of July events, all that kind of stuff, and that's going to become the new normal, pretty much, where restaurants are going to have the amount of people they can have in there, the amount of tables, which is going to fuck up their economy as well. But that is going to be the new normal for a while. I've read studies where they're saying social distancing is not going to stop until, or is going to be, relaxed a little bit more by 2022, because you think that you're not going to get a vaccine for like another year. In order to get all that vaccine out there to people, you think about another 6 to 8 months, somewhere around there. So that's 2 years right there that we're looking at. So by the end of 2022, most likely, social distancing will be lessened, but still not done. And that's why Comic Con 2020 was canceled. So what do they do with that cancellation? So basically, they told badge holders that they can either get a refund or they can apply their badge to next year, 2021, which sucks for people like me who didn't get in, who wanted to go next year. And now it looks like 2022. But with all this stuff going on too, I'm like, do I really want to go where there's a lot of fucking people around? And you know, you have some of these idiots that, yeah, probably not going to be doing that. But as it is, I was supposed to go, like I said last week, to New York City Comic Con um, at the end of this year. It's October, I believe, is when it is. And I'm kind of sketchy on that one right now because New York had been hit so hard. And most likely we're going to have another rebound of this thing sometime at the end of this year. And I don't want to be anywhere near New York City if that happens. Yeah. Viking Mitch says, yes, if people were smart and listened to science, yes, 2022 would be the end. However, we have lots of adult-sized children. Yeah, exactly. We have a lot of fucking morons in this country. I'm sorry. Uh, I don't care if I hurt your fucking feelings or not. So, you're fucking stupid. That's all I'm saying. Get a fucking high school education, finish up high school, learn to critically think for yourself, and stop watching Fox News. There you go. And also stop fucking following Dr. Oz and Dr. Phil. They're not doctors. I'm sorry. Those fuckers, need to be shot out of a cannon into the sun for all the bad shit that they've been passing on to people. And that's, yes, how I truly feel. There you go. I guess I wasn't done with the political commentary. It just kind of popped out there. It had to. So back to the news. Jar Jar Abrams is going to produce 3 more series for HBO Max. Some shitty thing called Duster, which I think is a original piece, which is fine. Then he's going to do a spin-off of The Shining called The Overlook, which is supposed to be, I guess, a throwback to the Overlook Hotel and what happened there. And then he's also going to produce a live-action Justice League Dark. Now, quite frankly, I'm tired of J.J. Abrams fucking up franchises. That boy just needs to do his own shit. Like Cloverfield, he can do like 19 more Cloverfield movies for all I care. Stay away from Star Wars. Stay away from Star Trek. Stay away from anything shit. He can fuck that up as much as he wants because I'm not interested in it. So there you go. Mork says, I finally get the notification. I get into the stream and Dennis tells me you're fucking stupid. That's right. That's right, Morks. I did. You came in at just the right time, Morks, because we were talking about you earlier. I wish, I could use a fast forward button. Really? Morg says, I was about to write the same thing. J.J. Abrams could have great talent, but for he messes everything up that he touches. He really does. Anything that's established franchises, he messes up. So, ah, God. But yeah, so he's doing that stuff for HBO Max. Um, I honestly just wish that we could get some good stuff going. I want to see how Disney, the Marvel series, the Marvel live action comic book series are going to happen on Disney Plus, because those are going to be the night and day reference that we have between what DC is doing and what Marvel is doing. We already see that in the movies. We already see that the Marvel movies are fucking far beyond whatever DC can do. And that's just because we have someone with an actual vision and a willingness to stick with it as well. That's helming the Marvel movies, or I should say, the Marvel franchise. So, what has Abrams done right? I couldn't tell you, quite honestly. I can't think of one thing that is J.J. Abrams that I like, to tell you the truth. Have you seen the new Clone Wars yet, Dennis? I have, Stanley Tweedle. Yes, I have. I will be talking about that on Wednesday. Yes. So, yes, we are in the final 4 episodes of that, and I will be talking about that. And speaking of which, that's a great segue. Thank you, Stanley Tweedle, because on Star Wars Day, May the 4th of this year, the final episode of the Clone Wars, the animated Clone Wars series, is actually moving over. It's going to be released on Star Wars Day. And that is how they're going to do it. Yes, Stanley, there's also some throwbacks in there too, to some odd, some old things, basically titles and things like that. Now I'll get into that on Wednesday when I do the review of that one. But yes, the very final episode of the series is going to be on May the 4th. Yeah, that's right, which is a Monday, if I remember correctly. Now I have to take a look because my memory is faulty. Yes, it is a Monday. There we go. So May the 4th. Yeah. Um, Also on May the 4th on Disney Plus, they're going to be releasing a documentary series on how The Mandalorian was made. This is going to be an 8-episode series, behind the scenes series with Jon Favreau. He's doing this, and actually, I'm kind of looking forward to this. If you have not seen Disney Plus's behind the scenes series stuff, they do a really fucking good job. I mean, there's a great series about the Imagineers and at Disney and how they work on stuff. And granted, it's all Disney, it's cleaned up. So all of the bad shit that they've done and all the labor relations stuff and all that has been kind of cleaned up and sanitized for your protection. Granted, I know this. I lived through all that stuff. I remember it. I remember how bad it was. And but I liked actually seeing what they produced out of it. And that's what the nice thing is. That yes, granted, there was a lot of shit that happened, but a lot of the product of it is pretty nice. Like the prequel webisodes. I don't know, Stanley Tweedle. Maybe they might do the prequel webisodes. Yes, I did say May the 4th is the Mandalorian documentary, which is an 8-episode series movie for Nobi. Did that not come across? Was it glitchy, or are you just reiterating? What has Jon Favreau done wrong? Um, Made Zathura, and even then, Zathura was okay. It wasn't great. Lion King, yes, I would say Lion King, but that one, I think he was kind of, well, he really wanted to do it, because if you watch Chef, he was really into that. And oh, wow, not Chef, but the Netflix cooking show that he does. Yeah, they cleaned up, Daryl Hannah's ass and Splash with that stupid hair covering that doesn't move really, it just kinda sits on her ass as she runs, and it just kinda does that a little bit. Yeah. There really wasn't any nudity in that either, it's just her naked butt, you know? A lot of VHS copies back in the '80s and '90s were worn in that spot anyway, so they coulda just used some of that. Yes, Cowboys and Aliens, thank you, Agent Future. A lot of people, including myself, tried to forget about that movie. The comic was decent, it's just that the execution it wasn't something that should have been made into a movie, quite honestly. It could have been made into a short or an animated series, something like that, but oof, yeah, that was bad. Movie Note says, "I read it before you said it." Yeah, likely story. It must have been the glitch, actually, Movie Finobi, that's what happened. It's glitching on the comments too. Sure. Excuse me. And speaking of comic books, the shitheads at Diamond Distribution, uh, I'm sorry, Diamond is just a horrible monopoly on comic books. They are the only distribution of comic books. All comic book companies need to go through Diamond, unfortunately, in order to get out to comic book stores and be delivered. And of course, they stopped distributing comics. So Diamond says that they're going to start shipping comics again in mid to late May. Okay. While DC Comics, for some reason, has says they're gonna start shipping out a limited number of certain comics on April 28th, which is kind of weird. I'm like, all right. I don't know how they're gonna do that, but sure, I'm gonna be interested to see how they do that. Comic book stores are still selling comics, by the way. So if you have a local comic book store, call them up, find out what their policy is, or if they're even open. Some are open, some are not. Granted, some are doing curbside pickup, and I believe some are just doing it only for subscribers. But who knows what's happening now at this point? Give them a call and find out if you have a local comic book store near you. So yeah, but they're gonna start, distributing those once again, which is gonna be good. I don't have too much news here, by the way. So there wasn't a lot because, of course, everyone's in lockdown. Um, but I'm gonna try and go through as much as possible. One of the nice things about animation is that you don't need to go into an office in order to do it. You can actually do it in a computer at home or on paper or whatever by yourself. You don't need to be around other people. So what's going on with that What If animated series that's happening at now Disney Plus? They're still working on that thing. Even though the lockdown has happened or the shelter in place has happened, uh, that is what's going on right now is that What If is actually still in production, even though people are at home. And if you don't know storylines of Marvel heroes and says, well, what if this happened? And usually it ends up being a really dark thing. They had some uh, comedy issues as well. Like, what if Daredevil could see his villains and you see him running away in terror? If they're gonna do what if Peggy Carter was the one that became Captain America? Or what if she was the one that got the super serum instead of Steve Rogers? And stuff like that. And it's all gonna be in animated form, which is gonna be really kind of cool. Hey, Pen. As the old saying goes, this too shall pass. Some comic book stores are not going to make it out of this. It's going to be even smaller, but it is what it is at this point. Kind of like the end of Clue. What if Clue had the multiple endings because you know the game itself was multiple endings. You never really knew if if what you came up with was really the winning answer or not. So my connection is getting flaccid. Not really. It's YouTube that is a little flaccid and a little bit weird. All right. What else is there? Moon Knight, the Moon Knight live action series that's also happening at Disney Plus, is scheduled to start production on November 16th, under the working title Good Faith. And remember, they are still without a lead on this. No one has been cast. I don't know if anyone is going to be cast at this point because it, it I don't know if you need to have someone go in and do this, if they can do this remotely or how they're going to do this, but we'll see how this is going to happen. So, am I glitchy again? Is that what's happening? I'm not seeing anything happening here that's showing me glitchy. I'm okay. You're the ones that are the problem. Probably John Cena. No, John Cena supposedly is going to be Exo Man of War, Man of War, whatever that hell thing that Valiant comic that was out there. Ah, you're watching at 2 times speed and not glitchy so far. I'm surprising. Ah, I didn't understand any of that. Oh, you didn't understand any of Moon Knight uh, not being cast? You don't know what Moon Knight is? It's a comic book that Marvel Comics puts out. Yeah. I'll just think of baseball. How about that? So, remember that Green Hornet movie that came out that Seth Rogen did a couple years back? The really shitty Green Hornet movie? Well, Universal Pictures hasn't learned from that mistake, and they are going to be making another movie. Of course, it's going to be a reboot, a remake, whatever the hell you want to call it. Green Hornet and Kato is what it's going to be called. And it has landed over at Universal Pictures. So I don't know why they keep trying to remake this. It started off okay. So the Green Hornet started off on radio, kind of like the Shadow did, Flash Gordon, all that kind of stuff. And the reason why we saw those movies in the 90s happening was because a lot of the studio executives were in their 60s and 70s. And that was shit that they listened to when they were kids. And they were like, hey, the kids of today are going to love this. And you have to imagine a cigar hanging out of my mouth while you do that. And of course, those movies crashed and burned because kids in the 90s did not want to see that shit whatsoever. I'm one of the weirdos. Yes, I do like the Green Hornet, but mainly because Bruce Lee was in the TV show and the TV series in the 60s and it was fun. I don't want to see a movie though. I'm sorry. I just really don't. Forever the contrarian. I'm not glitching. You're the problem. Exactly. Thanks, Cordell, Fenival. No, my ass is fine, but thank you for offering. Um, that's all I can say. Uh, da. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, go and watch Future Man season 3, and that's all I can say right there. Green Hornet killed Cameron Diaz's career. Uh, was she in that? Oh, that's right, she was in that. No, that didn't kill her career. She did. Didn't she do Shouldn't she do Bad Teacher after that? I think she did, Bad Teacher after that one. And Bad Teacher wasn't a bad movie, it was actually a lot of fun. Everyone keeps forgetting Jason Segel was in that movie. Charlie's Angels came before. Charlie's Angels was, like, 2003, if I remember correctly. Somewhere around there. Yeah. Do the beats scar you, Stanley, now? Seeing beats, does it remind you of that all the time? All right. So the final thing that I've got here is, in case you were still unaware of this, Sam Raimi came back to confirm that yes, he really is directing Doctor Strange 2, uh, and the Madness of the Multiverse or something like that, or the Multiverse of Madness. I can't remember what whatever that is. But yes, he is directing Doctor Strange 2, and Bruce Campbell took to Twitter to wonder quite loudly if there might be a part in there for him. Because, Sam Raimi never puts Bruce Campbell in any of his movies whatsoever. So, yeah. That's what he was thinking of there. So, I'm actually looking forward to it, to tell you the truth. Sam Raimi and, supernatural stuff, you know, what could go wrong? And superhero too. Superhero, supernatural, Sam Raimi. There you go. All the 3 S's right there. Yeah. Yeah, Green Hornet is a bad movie. Agent Future, it's a horrible fucking movie. I can't even watch there's parts of that that have come up on cable, and I couldn't, like, yeah, I couldn't stay through it at all. I hope, yeah, that, Doctor Strange 2 will have some gore to it as well, Stanley Tweedle. Yeah, it should be fun. So that's pretty much all I got for the news. What are you guys watching right now, TV wise? I'm not talking about if you're watching other channels right now, but you know, I think I told you guys I'm watching Motherland, Fort Salem is what it's called on Freeform, which is about an alternate history of what if witches were real and they joined into a pact with the United States before the United States even became, and now they are a military force in the United States and pretty much around the world. And it's not bad, quite honestly. The acting sucks for the most part, but it's an interesting alternate future, world, and I'm kind of liking it, to tell you the truth. VB says she's watching Devs. I tried watching the first episode, and I honestly it just was boring the shit out of me. I'm sorry. I know you guys are into it, but I tried. I really did. I might try a second episode, and I don't. But yeah, still watching Castlevania. Castlevania is good. I burned through that pretty quickly. Yeah, Cordell, I can't watch Better Call Saul. It's usually on right before Dispatches from Elsewhere, and I end up just putting the mute on because I just don't like any of the characters at all. Yeah. Stanley Tweedle says Motherland is not horrible, easy on the eye. Yeah, it's got pretty actors in it. It does, Stanley Tweedle, but the acting is fucking horrible in spots. And the lead, uh, Taylor, I can't remember what her name is. She's got this giant scar here. She's the actress, and I'd forgotten about this during a horror movie. The director told her to pound on the glass door even harder, and it shattered, cutting her face open and causing her to have 70 stitches down her face. That's why she's got this gigantic scar there. And I remember hearing about this, but no one ever said what her name was. And it was kind of a hush hush thing in Hollywood. It disappeared fairly quickly from the news. And when I saw that, I was looked up her name, and I'm like, oh, she's the one. And they have some pretty gory pictures, by the way, of the aftermath of that. Don't look at them. Hey, Apple Crow. Yes, she did sue them, Stanley. She got a lot of money off of that one, which is she deserved it completely because that director was a fucking asshole for telling her to do that. So, uh finishing up season 1, really enjoying it is what Dante S says. Okay. So, what else am I watching? I'm trying to think of. Oh, so I have been stuck on a loop of Pluto TV is, free TV. It's an app that does free channels of stuff. So they have one channel that is nothing but James Bond movies. They have 12 James Bond movies that they just put on loop essentially. And they also have stuff from the Shout Factory. So Shout Factory has been, you know, re-popping out movies in Blu-ray and sometimes 4K as well. Well, the Shout Factory actually took Toku, God, and I always forget how this is called. Uh, Katsu Ta- Tokukat. I can't remember what it's called. Essentially, what it is, it's the old TV shows, kind of like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, except the better ones that happened in the 60s and the 70s. That like Ultraman and Kamen Rider and things like that, and they're putting it on there. So it's all the old heroes fighting kaiju and all that. They've put those on its own channel called Tokushatsu, and I've been watching that. It's all in the original Japanese with English subtitles, and I throw that on every now and then when you know I want something that I don't have to think about, and it's easy on the senses. Anyone tried the Righteous Gemstones show? I haven't. Apple Crow says I might have to binge Community. I just finished rewatching season 1 and 2 of Future Man. Yeah, Tokushatsu, that's the one, Morks. Yeah. Okay, so it's not me, Stanley. See, Cordell, it's not just me. Yeah, it's just some stuff does not make me appreciate it. Let's just say that. Yeah, Joker. I've also had the Ultraman series is on Netflix. It's the animated one. It's anime. It's really good. The funny thing is, best thing to do is to have the English subtitles going while you have the English dubbed version going on as well, and to see how different the English actor, the voice actors, the English voice actors, are saying different lines completely than what the original script, I guess, was, and it's fucking funny as hell. The only thing I ever want to rewatch completely was DS9. Really? You should watch Babylon 5, Stanley Twill. It's the same thing. Oh, wait, sorry. Please hit that like button, as Penn says. That's right. Hit that like button. Um, yeah, I know that Parasite is out on Hulu right now, and I kind of want to watch it before my Hulu, my 1 month free subscription, excuse me, subsides there or cancels. So, what, Stanley Tweedle? You don't agree? Yeah, if only they would re-release Babylon 5 in 4K, remastered in 4K, and just put it up side by BS5, or I mean DS9. That was a Freudian slip if ever there was one. Viking Bitch says I started watching. I lost my body on Netflix. I need to carve out some time to finish. It's really strange. Okay. Yeah, I got to finish watching Paris. I did watch a long time ago, The Last Train to Busan, which is another Korean. It's a zombie movie, is what this one is, and it's really good. They're doing a sequel of it that is coming out, I think, at the end of this year, called Peninsula, which is the sequel to it. It's supposed to be a couple of years after Last Train to Busan. I'll just say thumbs up. I believe it's on Netflix, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah. B5 is fine, but it looks bad on HD. Yeah, well, they need to remaster it, Stanley. That's the whole thing. Yeah. Trying to think of what else is there that's out there. Well, of course, Dispatches from Elsewhere. If you're not watching Dispatches from Elsewhere, you should give it a shot. See what you think of the first episode. And if it doesn't speak to you, it doesn't speak to you. So, anyone seen Pontypool zombie movie from the viewpoint of a small town radio station? I have not. I think I've heard of it. Maybe you were the one that said it, and that's who I heard it from. I can't remember anymore. Viking Bitch says, I lost my body is about a severed hand that is looking for the boy it was attached to. Animated French movie. Wow, that sounds fairly dark. I can see why you like it. uh yeah. Yeah, Cordell, I like the pace of Last Train to Busan as well. And it's got a good premise to it. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. It's a lot better. It's kind of like if you want that Snowpiercer was also Korean, if I remember correctly. Yes, it was. And I don't know why they have this. It seems like he had a fascination with trains for some reason. Because if I remember, it's the same director. It is the same director. Yes, is that right? Yes, I believe it is. Yeah. So I don't know if it's a phobia that he has of trains or what, but he does some, very horrific things on trains with Snowpiercer and Last Train to Busan. I watched the first 2 seasons of In the Flesh. I love that show, but it was canceled. Huh. Yeah, I tried watching Kingdom Dante S, and it's really fucking gory. I mean, to the point where I had to turn it off. I'm like, "Yeah, this is just way too much. I can't do this." Yeah. Anybody watch Run on HBO? I haven't. I've saw that it's on there, but it just hasn't done anything to grab me. Yeah. So, trying to think what else that I've got here. So I maybe, I don't know, depends on what kind of stuff I can get out there in the apocalypse in my runs. Uh, I may be changing backgrounds here and whatnot because I might be moving to a different room. I might move this over into the bedroom where it's a little more quieter over there. So that's something I'm going to look at today, as a matter of fact, and start planning that kind of thing. It's still going to say kind of retain some of the same theme, if you will. Maybe not as cluttered as it is right now. So Stanley Twiddle says, I don't want to imagine life from the perspective of my right hand. Yeah. Yeah. Especially your right hand, Stanley Tweedle. No one wants to imagine that. Uh, excuse me. Still a little phlegmy and all that stuff. Just not doing all that well. On breaking up, I should say. Not that I'm not doing well. I am doing well. So thank you. All right. So what else do I have going on this week? I have tomorrow is going to be Westworld. Monday is going to be Dispatches from Elsewhere, the excellent Dispatches from Elsewhere, which is on AMC. Tuesday is Future Man. Wednesday is Star Wars: The Clone Wars. That's right. Thursday I'm off, and Friday is Harley Quinn. And of course, it wraps all the way back around again to Saturday morning blast off. So I drop elsewhere, and hell no, Stanley Tweedle. It's got 2 more episodes left. I don't know, 3 more episodes. It's got 10 episodes altogether. Keith Hamilton says, no, is it worth my time? There might be one in May, Keith Hamilton. So I'm guessing that's where it's going to be because Mondays are going to open up with Dispatch from Elsewhere. That's going to end on the. It has 10 episodes, and I think they're on episode 8. So what is that? 2 episodes left, or 7, 8? I think is what they're on. Yeah. You know what? Because I can't remember, anything whatsoever unless I look at the schedule anymore. That is how things are. Yes, I just did episode 8, so 9 and 10 are going to be there. Let's see what that is. So yes, May the 4th, of course, is going to be Star Wars: The Clone Wars, the final episode of Star Wars: The Clone Wars. So I'm going to be covering that as well on May the 4th. And then the following week is when I'll probably do another Is It Worth My Time? A new Is It Worth My Time? Yeah. Applecrow says, we've all been real Fleming this week. It's doing a number on my nerves. Looking after 2 elderly parents. Yeah. I know, Applecrow. It's kind of funny at work. Everyone's used to it now. They knew I had pneumonia, so it's and we're all social distance, by the way. So we're more than 6 feet apart when we're sitting there at work. But you still hear me going and cough every now and then, and yeah. That's the way it happens. Speaking of things with subtitles, watch Dark on Netflix. I've tried, Stanley. I really have. And Yeah, I tried. I can't get into it. I just really can't. I don't know why. I gave it a shot. That's all I'm gonna say. I gave it a shot. I may come back to it at some point in time, but when there's less stuff on and I'm looking for stuff to watch. So, I'd recommend an old movie called Tectronic Tectronic Greet. A very prolific animation as well. Okay, Cordell. Actually, what was it I watched on Netflix was the Amell cousins, Stephen Amell and Robbie Amell, were in Code 8. I know everyone's been watching it, but not bad for a Canadian. I think I talked about this last week as well. It was fairly decent. I know they're talking about doing a sequel to it now too, which is not bad. Viking Mitch says, I'm so lucky to be able to work from home, but it's much harder. Trying to force kids to go to school at home is next to impossible. Yeah. Well, they're supposed to be going online, right? Is that what it is? Mhm. Yeah. I know even, my coworkers have been complaining about their kids and, online classes and things like that, and I'm like, "I don't have any kids, I don't have to worry about that." Bah! I just copy and paste the word into Google? Okay. Alright. So, um, yeah, over in San Clemente here, they don't want the kids over at the skate park, so they took 37 tons of sand, they filled in the skate park. I shit you not, that's what they did in San Clemente, and the aerial photograph of it is just fucking funny. You see some guys that are there that are still trying to skateboard on just a little bit of ramp that they have, and, he you see one kid go down the little ramp, it's honestly, it's probably like 2 feet high, and he goes right into some sand and stops, and I was like, "That's actually pretty brilliant," and that's because the kids would not stop going there, even though they were told not to go because of the shelter in place that we have going on. Wow, that sucks, Viking bitch, it really does. Yeah. So, with that said, I'm probably gonna let you guys go for the night or the day, whatever time of day or night it is for you at this point in time. I'm gonna let you go because that's the way it is. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video at the very end here. If you like that, hit the subscribe button. Up here is going to be Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Oh, no, excuse me, Harley Quinn. Could remember what was going on that day. Harley Quinn's going to be up there for you. Uh, what else? If you need to know when I'm going to be on live again next, you can hit the bell down below there. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at my weekly schedule. It's up there and all the links to social media as well. So, thank you everybody who joined me today in the chat. Thank you if you made it this far in the video. And remember, stay the fucking home, wash your fucking hands, keep your fucking distance. Those are the 3 things you should be doing. I don't care what the Michigan militia says or whatever, dumb fuck don't tread on me, carrying MAGA hat wearing flag, whatever. Fuck those people. You know what? Listen to the scientists, listen to people that actually have degrees in all their teeth. Thank you, everybody. I will see you tomorrow for Westworld. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you might have some idiot trying to convince you to open up your parachute, take off your parachute at 1,500 feet because, the rate of descent has slowed. So it's safe to now take off your parachute. Thanks, everybody. I will see you tomorrow. Have a good rest of your day.